Hello students, we are starting with the chapter simple and compound interest, and this is the chapter which is depending on percentage. So before starting with the chapters, let's see what actually the difference between simple and compound interest, because it is very important to understand the difference, otherwise we'll make a mistake while solving the questions. So there are certain terminologies that we'll be using throughout this chapter. So the first terminology that we are using is P, that is principal amount. So amount is something different and principal amount is something different. So principal means the money which we borrow. Suppose we are taking a loan from the bank. So the money which we borrow is known as principal. Suppose I have taken 100 rupees from the person and I'll be returning back 110 rupees. So that 100 rupees which I borrowed is known as principal. Sometime in question, it is written as a sum. Then we have rate of interest, means this is the rate at which we need to return a money. And the T is time period, which is generally measured in terms of years. So there is another terminology which is known as amount, which is written here. So amount means the principal money plus the extra money that we are giving to a particular person. Suppose I am returning 110 rupees instead of 100 rupees. So 100 is the principal and the interest for a year is rupees 10. So when we add principal plus interest, then we'll be getting amount. So in case of simple interest, you need to add simple interest. In case of compound interest, you need to add CI. Now, before starting with the formulation, I'll be giving you the difference between SI and CI. So suppose we are differentiating between SI and CI. So let's see, if I take 100 rupees from a person with on an interest of 10% for a year. So after first year, I am supposed to give interest at 10 rupees. Then in second year also I am supposed to give him 10 rupees. Then for third year also I am supposed to give him 10 rupees. Means simple interest remains same for the different years. Means every year I need to give a person a 10 rupee until and unless I am not giving him the principal back. So after 3 years, the money I am returning to a particular person is 130 rupees. 10 rupees interest for the first year, 10 rupees interest for the second year, and 10 rupees interest for the third year. So the money I am returning to a particular person is 130 when I am taking 100 rupees from this person. So this is simple interest, and here interest rate that we are taking is 10%. Now suppose if he is giving money in case of compound interest. So suppose I have taken 100 rupees. So for the first year, I'll be giving him 10 rupees as an interest, but as a CI. That means the money I supposed to return him back after 1 year is 110. So the changes comes from the after 1 year. For the second year, instead of giving him 10, I need to give him interest of this, means 10% of 110. Means now my interest will be rupees 11. And now this interest will add in this money. So the amount which I am going to give him back after 2 years is 121. Now for the third year, again instead of giving 10, I need to give 10% of this money. That means for third year, I'll be giving him 12.1 extra rupees, and this should be added to the previous amount. So the money I'll be returning back is 133.1. So you can see that in case of simple interest, I am returning only 130 rupees. But in case of compound interest, I am returning 133 rupees 0.1. Means 3.1 rupees extra to that particular person. So CI is always more than as compared to SI when year is more than 1, because for the first year SI and CI will always remain same. There is no change. The changes will appear after the second, after first year, means from the second year, third year, and so on. So moving to the different formulation, this is the very basic formulas that we are supposed to use in this chapter and we are using throughout our life. For simple interest, it must be principal into rate into time upon 100. Rate is always given in terms of percentage. Amount means principal plus simple interest. Then compound interest will be principal into 1 plus r by 100 to the power t. R is the rate and t is the time period minus principal. This is the basic formula of amount, P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power n. In case of compound interest, generally we need to find amount instead of CI. So we generally use this formula. Here n is representing the time period and R is representing the rate. Now amount is being calculated payable annually, payable half yearly, payable quarterly. So the variation takes place are in such a way, suppose if we need to pay annually, so the formula remains same. But interest payable half yearly means in a year 2 times. So the time period will be multiplied by 2 and rate will be divided by 2. So rate is divided into 2 parts, but we need to calculate twice. So time will be multiplied by 2. Quarterly means 4 times in a year. So time will be multiplied by 4 and rate will be divided by 4. So these are the certain kinds of different formulation that we are using in compound interest. Now, here I am telling you a trick because in the past years, the question are like the time period is given in the form of fraction. So whenever the question is in the form of like the time period is 4 3 by 4. So how we are going to resolve it, that I am telling you. It can be written as 4 3 by 4 and we know that in case of expression, suppose it is x to the power n by 2. So this can be written as x to the power n into x to the power, or it can be written in this form, right? So we can break down in this form. When a time is in the fraction of a year, say 4 3 by 4, so we'll be writing it as p 1 plus r by 100 to the power 4 and 1 plus r by 100. This 3 by 4 will come inside. So this we'll be looking afterward while solving the question. So that formula will be clear to you. Now compound interest, as I have told you, amount is equal to principal plus CI. So CI will be amount minus principal. The most important things are these two formulas, because whenever there is a question of difference of compound interest and simple interest, so either we need to follow the proper procedure going through the formulas, but it takes lots of time, means at least you will be having 5 minutes for one question, then only you will be able to solve it. Otherwise, you need to skip it. So instead of skipping the question, we will be directly putting this formula. So the difference between compound interest and simple interest concept for 2 years means the question is like for 2 years, the difference of CI and SI will be this on this much rate of interest. So what will be the principal money? So we can directly put the value of CI and SI or the difference here, and we can take this. This can be written in the form as difference is equal to P, stand for principal, R by 100 to the power 2. So either the value of CISI is given or the difference is given. Both are the same things. But for the 3 year, the formula will changes. CI minus SI, because CI is always more than SI. So P into R by 100 to the power 2, 300 plus R by 100. You just noted down these two formula. It's generally not present in any other books. So you need to run for these two formula. And also the comparison of CI and SI means CI upon SI is equal to 200 plus R by 200. This comparison is only for 2 years, not more than 2 years. Because in SI and CI, as the time changes, the formula will also get changed. So when we are talking about the question based on difference, generally the question is asked for 2 years or the question is asked for 3 years, because for 4 year it will again become complicated. So in exam, according to the timings only the questions will be there. So let's